Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. On this channel, last year, I spent a lot of time discussing DRM, cloud software, closed source software, and how a lot of devices are manufactured nowadays where they have to connect to the manufacturer's server in order to work. If your device must connect to the manufacturer's server using closed source software in order to work, that means that the manufacturer can spy on you. It means they can turn off your device at any point in time. It means they can change the terms of service in the device, like what Roku is doing with their televisions here. If you had purchased their television and you had purchased it with the terms of service that did not have forced arbitration, well, sucks to be you. They can just change that at any given time. They can force the forced arbitration on you because the television connects to the internet, and you have the option to hit agree. Notice that there's no hitting down to disagree there. You either agree or you don't use your TV. This is something that's becoming more and more common, where the closed source software that runs your device connects to the manufacturer's server, and they can disable you from using it anytime they please. One of the most egregious cases of this is when it happened to a train in Poland. I can finally reveal some research I've been involved with for over the past year or so. We, Redford, Mr. Chick and I, have reversed engineered the PLC code of the Newag Impulse EMUs. My apologies if I mispronounced that. I am not Polish. These trains were locking up for arbitrary reasons after being serviced at third-party workshops. The manufacturer argued that this is because of a malpractice by these workshops and that they should be serviced by them, the manufacturer, instead of third parties. So let's get this straight. They spent an insane amount of money on an expensive train. Check. They paid in full for the train. Check. The train has the ability to report the location back to the manufacturer. Check. The manufacturer can see where the train is at any given point in time. Check. The manufacturer can remotely disable the train that you bought and paid for. Check. We make fun of things in this channel when it happens to somebody else. I see the comments when I bring up that BMW has a subscription for heated seats and DRM in a car. Look at those idiots buying their German luxury cars for $70,000. Anybody who buys a BMW deserves to be screwed. If you bought a BMW, if you bought an electric car, you deserve to be screwed. If you bought an Apple product, you deserve to be screwed. If you're watching Netflix content and you're not getting 4K when you paid for it, you probably just want to watch some hipster program, you deserve it. It's very easy to make fun of other people, and I see it in my comments all the time. But the problem here is that when you make fun of the individuals who are getting screwed, rather than pushing back against the manufacturers who are doing the screwing, it becomes a common practice. And the manufacturers see that, well, this is just normal now. We can do this and get away with it. The problem with that is when it starts to seep into other areas of life, the educational system, the public transit system, and then it creates this rent-seeking system where you have companies that are trying... They get mad. They get jealous. They are emotionally aggravated the way that Blackberry the cat is when I pet Clinton instead of her. And she looks at me with this, And it's kind of like that's who's running the train company. You had the train fixed. It's somebody but me. I could see the CEO of the train manufacturer just making the exact same face that Blackberry does when I pet another kitty. And this becomes a problem. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there was a speech given recently. It was about a 20 or 30 minute long presentation, and I was watching it. I'm not going to play the entire thing. I just want to play one thing to get a point across here. Listen to this and tell me if anything here sounds familiar to you.
It says, derailed train with Ukrainian refugees. We still don't know how is it related to software logs, but I guess they were just burning time to have less on-topic discussions.
Delay, deflect, derail.
That was a reference to the bullet casings or the shell casings that were left near the murder of the United Healthcare executive when Luigi shot him over and over again. Those shell casings said something, I think it was defend, deny, depose, deny, defend, depose, something like that, in reference to how many health insurance providers in the United States have been upping their rates of rejecting people's claims, denying those claims, and making it difficult for people to appeal them. The problem with health insurance is that oftentimes you need it when you are down on your luck, so you don't really have the ability to do appeals. You can't hire a lawyer. You can't spend a bunch of time going back and forth with your state or your city or your country's federal consumer protection body because you're in a coma. Because you just got hit by a truck. And sometimes when you get hit by a truck, you're just not in the state of mind to focus on these things. And this has created a worldwide discussion, not necessarily on profit, but on how you make your money. I personally don't have a problem with people making money. I don't have a problem with you making lots of money. I don't even care if you make billions of dollars. I am not a socialist. I am not a communist. What matters to me is how you make your money. The individual that was killed here was not a billionaire. He made more money than 99% of the people watching this channel. Don't get it twisted. He made over $10 million a year. That is more money than 99.9% of the people watching this channel. It's going to be controversial, but $10 million a year, while a lot, that's you're not going to be able to buy a small country with that. You're not a 100 or a 500 billionaire. 10 million a year is a lot of money, but it's not like It's not insane. The fact that everybody was cheering on this murder, the fact that you have people in the audience laughing, cheering, applauding, not a single person booed, should tell you something about where the culture is right now. And more importantly, I think that this needs to become a conversation not about whether or not that person was making a lot of money, but it really comes down to how you make your money. I've been watching these clips every now and then from Ben Shapiro talking about how it's bad that people are cheering this on. This is all this leftist, evil leftist cheering people that are getting killed in the street. They want people to die just because they made a profit. Profit is not bad, but that's really a deflection from the topic of the conversation. I don't think anybody here knows how much money the CEO of this train manufacturer makes. Frankly, I don't even know if anybody watching this knows whether this train manufacturer has a net profit or not at this point in time. I have no clue, but there was that much applause, and you know why they were applauding. You know what the implication is there. You know what you know when you see in the comments section of an article about this Polish train thing and somebody says somebody should be playing Super Mario Brothers in Poland, you know what the fuck they mean. And the fact that these comments are often the top upvoted ones is really a discussion on not who's making money or how much money is being made, but how you seek to make your money. That matters. I am a capitalist, I am in business to make money, and I like maximizing my profits. But there's a difference between me making money by selling a bunch of and hot air rework stations and me hacking your MacBook after I've recovered your data and telling you if you want access to this other part of your data, you actually have to pay me again. Or you got your data recovered once. I saw that you had your data recovered again by another facility, so I'm actually going to hit a button that does dd if equals dev/u random of equals your device and take right after I take a copy for myself, and you got to pay me again for it. The discussion should not be whether you have made a lot of money, or whether a CEO makes a lot of money, or whether a company makes a lot of money. A company increasing their profits by 10 or 20 or 40% year after year is simply salt on the wound of what's going on here. The focus should be on the fact that they are not making their money through innovation, they are making their money through abuse. I don't know how much money this train manufacturer makes. I don't know how much money their CEO makes, and frankly, I don't care. What matters is that many companies nowadays are not making their money through innovation, they're making their money through shit like this. I don't know how much money the CEO of Roku makes. I don't know how much money anybody makes there. I don't even know if they're a profitable company, and frankly, I don't care. None of that justifies shit like this. You cannot take away access to what I bought and fucking paid for and expect that there are not going to be consequences for it. I don't care how much money the CEO made, and frankly, I don't even know how much money the CEO or the company made when they take these actions. If you have locked me out of my ability to use my TV after I paid for it because you wanted to change the terms of the sale, I don't care if you were making money or losing money as you made that decision. It is irrelevant to me. You have fucked me. Whether or not the company is making money as they are implementing a machine learning algorithm that finds new and inventive ways to decline 90% of claims that should be accepted, if you're making money, that's just salt on the wound. The wound is the fact that you even got away with this to begin with. The wound is the fact that our regulators allowed it to happen. And the wound at the end of the day is the fact that our fellow human beings don't just walk out of these companies and protest the moment that they're asked to take part in this bullshit behavior. To focus on the amount of money the company has made is to accept the premise that if they were not making money, that somehow this would be okay. I don't think anybody in that audience knows how much money that train company was making, or how much money the CEO was making, or how much money they were making year after the year after they started abusing their customers. What mattered is that they were abusing their customers. When people are making these comments about Super Mario Bros. In the comments, they're not citing how much money they made. They're citing the practices of the company. The reason I don't do these things is because I believe that I'm somewhat, maybe 30% decent human being. But the reason that I don't even think about these things, that it doesn't even enter my mind at all as a thought experiment, is because I understand that there are consequences. I do not lock you out of your ability to get access to your data recovery unless you pay me again. I don't stop you from using any other company. I don't disable your repair unless you agree to a new terms of service, because I realize if I did that I'd be held accountable. My address is public for my business, and I am present at my business. People would show up and break the window. They would firebomb my store. They'd beat me with a baseball bat. They'd follow me out to my car. It doesn't matter whether it's against the law or not, something bad would happen to me, because there's only so far people can be pushed in society. Just because it's in a contract, just because it's on page 28 of a EULA that you don't read, doesn't make it right. And the problem is that none of these individuals have ever had to think about this when making these decisions. The person that made this decision never had to think to themselves, if I disable this train from working because they got it fixed somewhere else, will somebody potentially be late for a job interview, know that it was me that caused public transit to be fucked up that day, and then want to punch me in the street because of it? They're not thinking that way, but every small business owner has to think that way. We don't screw you over because we care, but let's be real. Everybody is greedy. Everybody has this. We all have dark corners of our mind that we explore every now and then. And the reason we don't explore that dark corner of our mind are because there are fucking consequences to it that are real consequences, regardless of what the law says. You can only push people too far. And there's only so far that I have the ability to push. There's always this worry that if I go too far, somebody's going to come hit me with a baseball bat and everybody around is just going to say, I didn't see anything. What are you talking about? Oh, that baseball bat fell off the top of the building or something. And none of the people making these decisions have had to think about it. I wanted cultural change. My video here pushed for cultural change dating back 6 or 7 years ago. That's the only way to get real change. It's not legislative change, because obviously that's not happening. The legal stuff, I've always known in my heart was going to be a sideshow. I always realized that was going to be a circus, a clown show, a ridiculous joke because of how politics works in the United States. I have all of these hearings here where I'm showing you what these ridiculous lobbyists are saying. They're saying shit like that your magtrometer and your microwave is going to explode. They make up all sorts of garbage on a regular basis. They say that you are going to get raped in a parking lot if you have the ability to have your car fixed by an independent mechanic, and they get away with it time and time again. I've always understood that the legal part of it is a circus. Right to repair legislation gets passed, the law changes. Can I get a schematic? Can I buy an LCD cell for the $38 to $115 I used to? Can I, no. I wanted it to be peaceful cultural change, where the people that watch these videos and grew up enjoying software freedom and hardware freedom and fixing their own stuff and finding it fun decide that I am not going to put any sort of code in the train that allows it to be disabled remotely. I wanted peaceful change. That has failed. This is what people are doing instead. If you are in a position to make these types of decisions at these companies, I would strongly suggest that you start taking on the same mindset that small business owners that are located at the address of their business have to think about every single day. When you have to deal with aggravated customers, it's very easy to say, oh, screw them, that person's being unreasonable, if you don't actually have to talk to them, if you don't actually have to see the interactions with the employees, and above all, if you never have to be held accountable or responsible. There are many decisions that I make in my business that I believe I make because I'm a decent human being. But there are other decisions that I make because I realize at the end of the day, if a situation goes poorly enough, somebody can just break the window, set everything on fire, and say, fuck you. And if I piss off enough people, everybody else will just say, oh, that fire started because of an extension cord that was too long. That's what happens when you piss off too many people. And I'm hoping that the people that run these businesses, and more importantly, the individuals that make these decisions at these businesses, understand that we are approaching a point in society where somebody is going to find a way to hold you accountable. If the law doesn't hold you accountable, Super Mario Bros. Will. Is it the best way to deal with our conflicts? Absolutely not. I think that there are many other ways. Would you like to be part of the conversation on how to do that? Because right now, when somebody implies that we should be playing a game of Super Mario Brothers, the entire audience laughs. Not a single boo. Not a single universal applause. There's a reason for that. And the reason for that are the decisions that you've been making. Not just for the past year, but for the past decade. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.